Hello, fellow Arc Raiders. It is January 27th, and it is a great day because it is Patch Notes Day. Today we got the update 1.13.0, and I've already read through most of the patch notes, so I'm just going to try to give you a summarized version of some of the biggest updates in here that I think will affect most players. First thing in this update is solo versus squads. Basically, as a solo, you can queue against teams of squads as long as you're above level 40. And if you do this, you will get a 20% bonus XP at the end of the round, whether you extract or you don't. I love PvP. I'm not overly PvP heavy, but for those people, I would assume that they would like this update. It's always nice to give players a different way to interact with the game, so I think this is a good overall addition to the game. They also added the trophy display, which is a new long-term project that requires players to hunt increasingly dangerous groups of Arc to submit their parts for rewards. Raiders will be able to build a new display case over 5 different steps, which is the same as the Candleberry project, and each level will add a new item to the display case. The rewards for completing each step include blueprints as well as Raider tokens, and full completion also brings additional rewards, including a Howl emote, a guitar, and 300,000 space coins. There is currently no fixed end date, and it will not be impacted by the expedition resets. I'm not entirely sure how this trophy display system works, whether it's just something that you can see or if other players can see it, but regardless, I love little additions like this. I kind of talked about it briefly in the last video, how Arena Breakout kind of has that same system. So I love this. New addition, new content, cool update. Bird City, flocks of birds have moved into Buried City, building nests in empty chimneys. Apparently they have shiny trinkets inside them, and it is also a new permanent map condition that will be applied to only the Buried City map, but it'll cycle in and out of rotation weekly. There will be more bird traps and ziplines present on the map. Raiders can expect more combat in, on, or around the rooftops, including more flying Arc and more players in proximity. All in all, I love these map conditions. I think ever since Cold Snap has been gone, I feel like we're missing something like this just to keep the maps fresh. They also added 2 new items, which were 2 new types of Epic Augments. Now, I don't have these augments, but I thought I heard that one of them allows you to put any item that you want into your safe pocket, which would be super nice for like a stacked Bobcat 4 or some of those other items that you can't put in there right now. They also added 7 new quests. I've briefly looked at them. I'll show them here on screen. These are the first 5 that I came across. I haven't done any of them yet. The rewards are pretty typical, a little underwhelming, but regardless, it is something else to do and some new content. They describe some of the patch highlights as open parties and squad invites, which to me, I think both of these things should have been added from the beginning, but I'm happy that they put them in now. Open parties means that any of your friends can just join your match without having to invite them. And the squad invites allows anybody in the squad to invite anybody they want instead of the party leader having to invite anybody themselves. They also did a Stella Montis Seed Vault extraction fix, which we'll go into this a little bit later, but this is huge. Probably one of the best fixes in this patch notes. Content and bug fixes. They fixed some of the Arc so that Arc are better at traversing obstacles, which I think will make them more dangerous. I'm cool with that, make it a little bit more interesting. Leaper is now better at walking when it loses its legs. I don't know how that's possible, but I'm glad they were able to make it work. They updated the ticks so that when you're grabbed by a tick, players now have a brief window of time where they can dodge roll to remove the tick. I hate ticks. They're not dangerous by any means. I've never died to one, but they are by far the most annoying Arc in the game. They also added some audio fixes, which includes fixing voice chat cutting in some cases, and it improved the voice chat connection. In my opinion, VoIP for Arc Raiders has been messed up since release with automatic gain feature and this and that. It doesn't matter if you have a good mic, a good voice, or a good computer, whatever it is. I think everybody sounds kind of goofy and choppy in Arc Raiders. So hopefully this clears up some of that or fixes it entirely. Some of the map changes that they made in general, the types of containers that contain condition-specific blueprints have been lowered during Electromagnetic Storm, Hidden Bunker, and Locked Gate. Now, Locked Gate is where I get my Bobcat blueprints. Hidden Bunker, I've gotten a lot of Volcano blueprints there. Regardless, if you have these blueprints, good for you. If you don't, they're just going to be a little bit harder to get. They also raise the chances of finding higher tier weapons in weapon cases, which I love. 95% of the time when I open a weapons case, it is a level 1 green weapon with no attachments. So I'm glad they're raising that a little bit. They slightly lowered the chance of finding matriarch and queen unique parts in their armor pieces to make it a bit harder to get them without destroying them completely. I don't know if it's just me, but I really don't know what that means, but it sounds interesting. Fixed a raider hatch timing bug and camera getting stuck when the interaction fails. Minor bug, but it's caused a lot of problems. I've ran into this a few times, so I'm glad they got that fixed. For Damn Battlegrounds, they fixed an issue where players could reach an unintended location in water treatment. I've never encountered that either, but if that's just another situation where players can shoot you from walls, I'm glad they got that fixed. Buried City, they removed the musical puzzle from Buried City. But the guitar you can now get from Shawnee's at the trader. It's only 70 cred and you can get one a day. I don't know if they needed to entirely remove it from Buried City, the puzzle that is. They probably could have just added it, but this is the route that they went. So regardless, I'm happy that I can just buy it for extra cred that I have sitting around. For Stella Montis, they fixed the Seed Vault extraction glitch on Stella Montis that allowed players to remain in the extraction point after it had closed. Okay, this right here, between this and people being able to get in the ceilings and the walls, that was fixed not too long ago, but these bugs are ridiculous. This is not just like a little glitch, and people were abusing this for weeks and weeks and weeks. I think they could have fixed it earlier, but regardless, I'm glad that they have it fixed now. I just hope they stay on top of these type of fixes a little quicker in the future. Fixed 40 locations on Stella Montis where players would frequently get stuck. Never happened to me, but if there was 40 locations, yeah, that definitely should have gotten fixed. Nice job, devs. Fixed Bastion in Stella Montis being able to spawn out of bounds and attack players through walls. I've never encountered this. Stella Montis was a good map addition, but it has been littered with apparently Bastion spawning in walls, all these stuck locations, people camping the Seed Vault extract, people getting into ceilings and walls and shooting you. Stella Montis has been super bugged ever since it came out, so I'm really glad that they're getting some of this stuff fixed. Miscellaneous fixes, various crash fixes. I think that's good. We don't need people crashing. Added a matchmaking delay for stream sniping mitigation. That's always good. I'm not a streamer, but I can't imagine how annoying it is trying to play a game and you're just getting hacked and sniped nonstop, so that's pretty cool. Made aim assist consistent across different frame rates. So with the whole Nick Merckx cheating scandal, I don't think he was cheating, but a lot of people did. There was a test ran that showed that your aim assist was directly tied to your frame rates. So if you're getting 300, 400 frame rates or something crazy, your aim assist was going to be way different than somebody who's just getting 60. So I'm glad they kind of balanced it out. They fixed some graphics settings, resetting to default when you restarted the game on a PS5. I don't have a PS5, but if you do, hey, I bet you're happy to see that one. They also did some lighting polish on various maps. I'm not sure if that was for performance or just aesthetics, but regardless, run it. Movement, they fixed an issue where movement input would be temporarily responsive after having network connection issues. This would happen to me from time to time, and I know it's not my internet because I have 2 gig symmetrical, which means 2 gig down and 2 gig up. I would have no network issues on my end, but I would constantly get locked in a spot or stuck in an animation because of this, so I'm glad they fixed that personally. For one of the UI fixes, for users who have Discord linked, you can now invite Discord friends to play or have Discord friends join you straight if you have Open Party enabled. I think this is huge. I think a lot of people are using Discord anyway for voice comms other than directly in the match, like party and stuff, because Discord is universally used and it sounds way better than their in-game system. They made some utility fixes. They fixed the zipline anchoring point, updating its position correctly when on a moving platform. Now, I've never encountered this exact issue, but in my opinion, ziplines are one of the most buggy things to use in this game. Sometimes you try to put down one and it puts down 2 or 3, or it gets moved last second upside down to something else, or it's on the side. I think ziplines need to be reworked in their entirety, but regardless. They also fixed an issue where 2 players using a defib at the same time would revive a downed player with full HP. I wasn't aware this is an issue, but I'm glad they put it like this, so they at least made their stance a little bit more known. Huge anti-cheat update. Progressive ban system is in the process of being implemented. Bans will progress from 30 days to 60, and finally a permaban for repeat offenders. As we are all gamers here, anti-cheat never seems to keep up, so I'm glad that they're getting a little bit more harsh on the bans, because hacking in this game is out of control. I mean, it isn't the worst I've ever seen in any game, but it is getting ridiculous. So I'm glad that they're stepping up some of that to try to mitigate some of the cheaters. All in all, I think this was a very good update. A lot of fixes, some cool additions. I would love to hear your guys' comments and opinions on some of this stuff. Just leave it down in the comments. I will read all of them. I'll go through and respond. And all in all, good update. Tip the hat to the Arc Raiders devs over there at Embark, and I hope they keep these updates rolling. Otherwise, I hope the rest of you have a very good day, and I will see you on the next one.